Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Fujit's Blitz, and now we're going to look at the Charioteer, the British Tier 8 Tech Tree TD, who a lot of people think it's broken. Well, I'm not one of those people, to be fair. Okay, it's got a huge gun, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about that later. Let's have a look at some of its stats. Well, this is just it in the game. As you can see, it's got really good penetration, really poor armor, not a bad turn of speed, not a great rate of fire. Hit points, pretty average, but in the armor is very poor. View range, not too bad, 273. Damage per minute is just over 3,000. And as you can see there, you know, the damage that this thing churns out can be quite big. It's around 350 to 440. At this stage, I would normally show you its armor profile, but alas, the armor inspector doesn't have this tank up and running yet. So, like I said at the beginning, a lot of people are saying this tank is broken. Why? Well, they say it's broken because it's a derp monster. I don't think it is. Okay, it's got a great gun, and oddly enough, in real life, this tank was truly atrocious. It's one of the worst tanks the British Army has ever fielded, which is strange because basically they married this massive gun to this Cromwell chassis, and in real life it didn't work. It screwed everything up. They had to lower the armor profile, they had to, the turret didn't move properly, and everything was just wrong. But in Blitz, this is a great tank. I mean, we saw the Challenger, I released the Challenger video yesterday, and the tank's okay, it's pretty middle of the road. This thing, however, is completely different. For one, it carries HESH, unlike the Challenger. For two, it's got a bit of a derpy gun. I mean, it's got a relatively nice reload. It's not that slow. It's not fast, but it's not slow. As you can see here, it's around 6 seconds. It's basically, you've got a similar gun to the Centurion 7.1. It's not exactly the same gun, but it is a tier 10 gun. It's 105mm AT L7, which for all intensive purposes is a similar gun to the Centurion 7.1. But it's not quite the same gun. The name is different. So you've got a big gun on this thing, but like all British tanks, don't forget this is now a TD. So whilst it's a TD, it doesn't dish out massive derp, but you are at tier 8. You know, look at some of the other TDs at tier 8. You've got the ISU 152, which will dish out 600. Okay, it does it in 12 odd seconds, where this does it in 6 seconds. You know, you get a similar sort of thing. But the joy of this tank is its penetration. I mean, the penetration is fantastic. It will pen most things. Okay, it's got a HESH, so you're not always going to get those massive, huge rolls. But when the HESH rounds do work, boy, it's nice. I mean, you're knocking out 400. And that's pretty good. I mean, 400 times 2 is 800, so it's similar realistically to an ISU. Although on the HE on this thing, you're only going to knock out 440, unlike the ISU, which knocks out 900. But that's not the point. I mean, the point is you've got a mobile TD with a turret that turns around with a relatively quick reload. It's an interesting tank, to be perfectly frank with you. You can't play it like you think you can. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, well, you know, it's basically a Cromwell with a bigger turret. It's not a Cromwell with a bigger turret. It hasn't got the same turn of speed. It hasn't got the same mobility. But unlike the Challenger, this thing is more potent. I found this one a lot nicer to drive than the Challenger, I'll be honest with you. And there are 4 TDs that came out, and we're going to look at all 4 of them. This is part 2, obviously, and then later on we'll look at the Conway. And I found this one the best out of the 4 for numerous reasons, but the main reason was this gun. Because you're getting a lot of damage out there quickly, which has made a lot of people say it's broken. Now, it's not broken. I think it's balanced. I don't even think it's OP. I don't think it's even close to being OP when you consider the other TDs in the line. I think it's a nicely balanced tank. It's pretty easy to deal with. The armor is pretty thin. And as you can see in this game, no one's really troubled me. But that's the other team. And as I said in the Challenger video, when I did these games, it was a mixed bag of players. There were some good players, and there were some truly shocking players. And there were some good teams, and there were some truly shocking teams. Now, the team that I've just faced against, they didn't really set the world on fire and allow me to basically farm 2,500 damage. Better players and better teams would have given me a harder time. I would have shown you me dying very quickly, because that's the way Blitz works. So, getting back to the Charioteer, a lot of people are saying, as I said, it's broken. It really isn't broken. I wouldn't even go as far to say it's OP. I do think it's balanced. Oh, second class. It's only 2,000 off damage, which is interesting. Now, this is me rolling out on a supremacy game in Middleburg, and yeah, I'm not going to do anything different. I'm going to play the tank the same way. And as you can see here, middle of the road tank. I'm not top tier, I'm not bottom tier. And as you can see, boom, that's a low roll. And that was into that Conqueror's front plate, and that was Hesh. So it doesn't always work. So load APCR, and that's a bounce. So it doesn't always pen. The tank doesn't always go through everything, but eventually it will do. So there you go, look, you get a nice 328 roll into the front of the Conqueror. But I've been smacked a bit here, so I'm going to back away. I've already taken a base. We've already taken the C-cap as well. So now I'm going to roll up here, and again, as you'll see, better teams would have given me a harder time. There's a 704, a tier 9 TD, which has the ability to really hurt me, and he is absolutely not focused or concentrated on me whatsoever. Now, I know there is some of my team up and around in that distance, but it's only one tank, and he allows me to wipe him out. So I get 1,400 damage in next to no time, in real terms. And this is the thing, I mean, like I said, when I took these tanks out for a whiz yesterday, when they first rolled out, I had good teams and bad teams. And thankfully I had a multitude of bad teams that allowed me to get some footage. But once the game calms down after the update release, because it's patch day, I mean, you get all manner of players who aren't normally on the game coming on to update, and it's just the way it goes, I'm afraid. So anyway, I've done less damage than what I did in the last game. I've taken a base, I've been in the thick of the action. I'm now going to chase down this. Why this TD was sat here just camping and doing nothing is beyond me, but that's the way it rolls in Blitz, I'm afraid. I'm not going to get there before my teammate, but he's on a longer reload. I'm already loaded. I'm going to just roll over the top and smack him. And here we go. Smack! That's a great tank, by the way, the WZ. And, I do less damage. Oh, well, 200 more. 2,700 damage, take 2 kills, cap at base. And surprisingly, I get a mastery, which really took me by surprise. I didn't think, I thought it was going to be set higher than that. What a strange tank. Now this is a friend of mine, Mystic JR from FTC1. He's also rolling out Middleburg, and here's Charioteer. And he's going to show you a little bit of a different style. And as you can see there, he's facing off against a Challenger. And the Challenger's got a big head. And his head is so big that he's gone, because he's allowed Mystic just to plow 3 shots into him. He's done over 1,000 damage already, and the game has just started. Now he's going to give this American tank a bit of a hard time. And as you can see, he's not focused on Mystic at all. No one's given Mystic the time of day. And this is what I found here. Oh, okay, that was a bit of a bad one. He got smacked in the front of the nozzle. Not a problem. Oh, and there's another challenger come up to give him a bit of a hard time. So he's going to smack that challenger too. And this is not a bad tank. I mean, he's frontlining it because to an extent you can. However, the armor profile is not good. It is effectively the same as a Cromwell. My challenger is doing that. It's similar to a Cromwell, and as you all know and love, Cromwell's armor is not the best. You can slice through it. Now he's done just shy of 2,000 damage. They're all trying to get around the back of him. His T-26 is going to help out. Maybe. Come on, Predator, get in there. He's already taken one kill. He's assisted in taking that kill. Now he's going to try and roll out and get round there and take this kill. Is he going to be able to shoot him? Yeah, right up the engine deck for 400. And that's the thing about this tank. I mean, it's got a fantastic gun. Let's not kid ourselves here. As I said, I mean, you're not... Okay. It hasn't got the best armor. I mean, this is not a tank, realistically, you can frontline. So, there's a lot of naysayers out there saying, no, it's broken, no, it's OP, no, its DPM is off the charts. And I say, okay, you would then say that the 183 is broken, because, again, it's off the charts. Not DPM, but, one shot can waste most things. That doesn't make a tank broken or OP, because it lacks in other parts. It lacks in its armor, and it lacks in its mobility, and it lacks in its camo profile. That's the same here. What actually makes the tank OP? Well, I personally think the WZ1201GFT is OP. Why? Because it's got a fantastic gun. It's got great mobility, and it's got trolley armor, and it's got good DPM. In other words, everything on that tank is set slightly higher than most of the tanks around it. On this tank, not everything is set slightly higher. In fact, whilst it may appear broken, it's not. I think it's balanced. And, that's a controversial statement, because a lot of people will not agree with that. A lot of people say, no, Fuji, it's definitely broken, because the gun is so OP. Well, the gun, it's tier 8. It is not... It's a similar gun, in real terms, to the ISU 152. And unlike the ISU, it really doesn't have any armor. Okay, you got a bounce there, that was quite lucky. It really doesn't have any armor. I mean, the IS2, the ISU 152 does have trolley armor at the best of times. Okay, it's got a 6-second reload, and it will dish out similar amounts of damage, second for second, as the ISU. But it's not broken, guys. It just feels broken, and that's a big difference, because not everything on this tank is set to that 11th notch, so to speak. Just the gun is fantastic, and that is it. That doesn't mean to say the tank isn't formidable. Of course it's very formidable. Now this is a one-on-one. Good old Mystique here has done over 3,600 damage. He's got a Tiger 2 to face off with, and as you can see here, Tiger 2 is looking very healthy. And Mystique is realistically a 2-shot. Realistically. Now, he smacks the Tiger 2 there for 400. And in a moment, you're going to see what I mean about... Look at this. I mean, he's struggling to pen parts of that Tiger 2 with the APCR. And the Tiger 2, don't forget, is a tier 8 tank, so this is tier to tier. This is not a tier 9 tank against a tier 8 tank. This is a tier 8 against a tier 8. Wait for the Tiger to come round, smack him again. Look at that. The Tiger's dishing out massive damage as well, guys. And he's not struggling to pen this little Charioteer at all. Charioteer is now down to 1 shot, and he's gone. He's dead. So, one-on-one brawl there. Tiger 2 got the better hand. But that's fantastic damage. It's 4,934. A wow-deserved mastery. Not many credits, because you're using your Pramo a lot. But it's a great game, and I'd like to thank Mystique JR of FDC1 for kindly sharing his replay. For me, that's been the Charioteer, guys. It's a fantastic tank. It's my favourite so far in the new line of TDs. Mainly because I think it's the easiest one to play out of the four. We'll deal with the Conway next, and then we'll end up with the FV4 of 005. If you've got any decent replays, by all means send them to me, fujitsblitz@gmail.com. By all means, comment, like, and if you haven't yet, please press subscribe. It's a nice thing to do. And as I said, that's been the Charioteer. It's now available. You can now get it. It's in the tech tree. Follows from the Challenger. And until the next time, stay safe up there. Have fun on the battlefield and happy tanking, because that's what it's all about. Having fun and being happy.